வணக்கம் நண்பர்களே, இது உங்கள் வைரவ பழனிசாமி. நம்ம வந்து யூபிஎஸ்சி சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எக்ஸாம் உடைய மேனுஸ்கிரிப்ட், அதாவது டிரான்ஸ்கிரிப்ட். இட்ஸ் அபவுட் சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எக்ஸாம். ஸோ இன்டர்வியூ போயிட்டு போட்டியாளர்கள் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஏன்னா ஏன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நம்ம மேனுஸ்கிரிப்ட் சொன்னால் அவன் எழுதி கொடுத்ததை நம்ம திருப்பி எழுதுறோம். இட்ஸ் அ டிரான்ஸ்கிரிப்ட். வி ஆர் மேக்கிங் இட். அண்ட் அந்த வகையில் நம்ம இன்னைக்கு பார்க்குறது வந்து ஒரு 10வது வீடியோ அண்ட் ஒரு எலாபரேட் ஒரு வீடியோ இது. அண்ட் இட்ஸ் போர்டு மெம்பர் வந்து சேர்மன் வந்து ஸ்ரீ சஞ்சய் வர்மா. அண்ட் ஆப்ஷனல் இஸ் பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ரிலேஷன்ஸ். லெட்ஸ் சி. Date 9/12/2025. Key detail application form details. IFS first preference, Indian Foreign Service was the first preference, Delhi University, and head of Indian delegation at an international conference and world cuisine and PSIR rest not asked board, Sanjay Verma, and chairman, and welcome. My name, he ended up mispronouncing it, and so I corrected him. That's very unique name. Have you met anyone else with the same name? I thanked him and said I was yet to meet another name. Lovely. பாருங்க, உங்க பேர் மாதிரி இதை மாதிரி வேற யாரையும் மீட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கன்னா அந்த மாதிரி நான் யாரையும் இப்போ வரைக்கும் மீட் பண்ணல அப்படின்றாங்க. that's a unique. I think you should patent it. Laughingly and chuckled too, right? நீ பேட்டன் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. சிரிக்காங்க எல்லாரும். Fine. Okay, who gave you this name? Must be some answer. Okay, coming to your DF, that is detailed application form, political science and international relations, your subject. Can you tell me the two concepts, one from political science, one from international relations, that have come into question in recent times, right? One from political science, other from international relations. That's political science, like அரசியல் அறிவியல் மற்றும் சர்வதேச உறவுகள் நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். இது ரெண்டுல ஒரு டாபிக், right? Fine. And I said in international relations, I think liberal institutionalism would be good contender, because multilateral institutions like WTO, UN seem to be a back foot, and we see shift towards protectionism and minilateralism. As far as like political science, sir, I think communism as a concept has always been under question, especially considering the paradox modern communist countries exhibit. They practice authoritarian under the garb of communism and end up liberalizing their economies. They're liberalizing their economies, right? One is in politics, other is in international relations. Fine. Okay, good. Have you heard populism? Do you think it has always been in practice, that it is a new phenomenon? Can you give an example from past and the present? I think populism in varying degrees has been in practice ever since democracy and especially representative democracy have existed. It becomes imperative to cater to the demands of the people, and eventually numbers ending up mattering lot of accruing power. As far as examples, the opening up of EIC for public investment by British was a populist measure. And today, sir, the rise of vote bank politics could be a case. Vote bank politics, a good case in point. And I purposely did not cite specific examples here. Figured if they wanted to go into the direction, they would prod me to their own. Okay, out of all the leadership positions you have listed, I had listed 4, which was the latest I mentioned, the head of the delegation. What did you buy in that country? I mentioned a wallet I had bought for my mother, and told him that I had spent most of my money on trying different food. Fine. Coming to food. You have mentioned world cuisine. It is such a wide and open-ended hobby. Can you answer anything and everything about the cuisine around the world? I told him that I was interested in cousins' trials of many regions around the world, listed some, and I did not want to limit my hobby for fear of what might be asked. But of course, I don't know it all, but I said I would try my best to answer his questions. Right? Okay. Then let me ask you something. If we were to combine all North America and South America and Indian, would still have more diversity cousin. I concurred with his view, and I gave supporting example and argument, and gave an example. Delhi, Old Delhi Mughals and Lajpat Nagar had Afghani immigrants, Himalayan poor and northeastern food, etc. Right? Fine. Next is number 2. Do you know animal testing is? I said, yes, I explained. Do you think that it should be done? Are there any alternatives? I said, no. And that I found it exploitative of voiceless animals. Talked about anthropocentricity and how we are seeing a shift to biocentricity now. Said there are companies which are going vegan, right? With on. And again, so what are the alternatives are? What the alternatives are? I said I can only think of artificial tissue culture being used to create artificial skin and organs and test cosmetics and medicine. But I did not know is actually being used. Said I will read upon it. So what is the difference between growth and development, and what you have seen growth versus development in your own life? There were many more questions, but so there were many more questions, but I can't remember it. So that's fine. And next is number 3. So what would happen if India and Pak back, right? What would happen to India if take POK back? Sorry, Pakistan occupied Kashmir back. Give pros and cons. Why do you think that we only talk about women rights and then not men rights? Good discussion on this. Imagine you are at a global stage and you have to convince the other countries that India treats its women well, right? Then give only one good point. Give only the good points. So what will you talk about? Don't give constitutional provisions. I gave a lot of points here. Would have perhaps kept the examples less and explained more. But I had put my point across and asked something nucleus specific, and I did not know answer to that. Right? Fine. So next is number 4. So do you know who gave the slogan Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan? So why it was given? क्या आपने काला पानी के साथ साथ सुनी है क्या होता है? कहाँ होता है? किसको दिया है? उससे काला पानी क्यों कहते हैं? I did not know the exact reason why it was called Kala Pani. Rest I answered. It was in Hindi. Right? Fine. What is anemia? Why it is caused? Why do women in India suffer from it? What can be done to tackle it? Don't just say anemia mukt Bharat. I explained and what was it and said genetic deposition in our poverty points. Ma'am find out that not only poor who suffer from it. I apologized and said, yes ma'am, I think I might suffer. I think I might suffer from it too. Member chuckled and reiterated genetic point, added supplementation once, and spoke about lack of nutritional diversity in our food. Right? And do you think that we should shift to organic farming? Do you think we should shift to organic farming? So number 5. So you mentioned about the failure of one of your previous answers. What were the failures you were referring to? How do you view failure? Is it absolute or relative? After listening to my answer, Sir said that it was a positive way of looking things. See, இதில் நம்ம என்ன சொல்ல வரோம்னா, நம்ம என்ன ஆன்சர் பண்ணாலும் we have to be very, very careful in giving answer. Every word can become a question, right? That's very, very important. Why do you think people are so critical of themselves these days? Do you think that the impacting of mental health children? What can be done to tackle it? Parents say children are too strong-willed to listen to them these days. Then how can be the situation improve, or how can the situation improve? I spoke of empathy and open communication and elaborated that, right? I will say 3 words: Clinton, Hillary, Monica. What comes in your mind? So that's quite interesting. Clinton, Hillary, and Monica. What comes in your mind? So, what is nuclear winter? So there were I few questions that I am not able to really recollect it, and these were mostly. Then one-to-one Anbam Jain sir, because we kept the name because he has elaborated, so we kept the name. And Smart Work Lab, genuinely the most helpful one-to-one out of there, and many points of our discussion helped me to improve my arguments during the interview. Also helped me immensely being able to think on fly as coherently in a fashion as possible. So thanks to him, and I did not feel overburdened and overwhelmed, which made the preparation for the interview quite stress-free, especially considering how little time I had to prepare. So to check them out, right? So thank you very much for listening, and we'll come up with one more next video with a transcript. So thank you very much for listening.
வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, பெல் ஐக்கன் பிரஸ் பண்ண மறந்து போயிடாதீங்க. அப்பதான் நாங்க போஸ்ட் பண்ற வீடியோவோட நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் உங்களுக்கு வரும்.